Hello world, welcome to SD35 CareerEd's video on logging into and searching for an employer on myWEX.ca. We will start by going to myWEX.ca. For starters, you will need an account created for you. This is not going to be the same account as your employee number and your district password for accessing your district email. It is a completely separate account. The format that we usually use when making accounts is first initial and your last name, or whatever your email is, the beginning before the @35.bc.ca section. You will need to contact Ronnie Madre or Jeff McSherry, and they're at CareerEd at the SPO, and they'll be able to create this for you. So let's log in, and just a tip, make sure you select Langley Schools, your username, and this saves the top two fields, so you don't need to type it in again the next time you use it. You'll probably be on this fairly often. So let's take a look around the dashboard. This is what you see as soon as you log in. User settings allows you to change your password. Probably want to do that beyond what the default is that we provide you with. Here it will tell you the number of placements at your school, and I'm at a test school, so I made a test account at a test school, so there's not very much action going on, hopefully compared to what will be happening at your school. And then down here it tells us about upcoming placements, current placements within the next week, and the employer workflow. So this is where you submit new employers to the system, and you can check to see if the employers are approved or declined, and get more information on the status of that. But for this video, we will be looking at the employer section and how to search using that, which would be the first step to creating a placement. View employers. All right, first thing we're going to do is we're going to see if, well, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to use the search. The easiest way to search is generally with the employer name, because we all know what that is, wherever our students can be placed. I'm going to show you, let's look up for Langley. All right, as you can see here, Langley can be in many different parts of the name. It could be at the end of the company name, or it could be at the beginning of the company name. So it's quite varied where it could be. If it's in red, this is because this is considered a district reserve placement. So as you can see, Howdy of Langley and Fraser Health Langley Memorial Hospital are both reserved at the district level. So this means only SBO staff are able to make placements with these employers. This is usually because it's a district WEX, and the employer has asked us to limit who can place there. Employer details is where you could find out more information about the employer beyond what's on the screen. Activity details will talk about the activities and allow you to look and see the further detail beyond what is listed here. The employer name, and below that is the address where it's listed. For chains like McDonald's or Subway or Safeway, something like that, there would actually be a new employer listing for each address. So you would see McDonald's Walnut Grove, McDonald's Fort Langley, McDonald's Langley City. Each one would be listed as a separate employer. The next is looking at the activity. So this is the activity that's already been entered into the system, and this is for an auto service tech assistant. So that's what you could think of as the job title or the role that the student would serve at the employer during their job placement, during their work experience placement. Below that is the category. This helps us when we're searching the database to see, to help sort them and see what sort of opportunities we have if another student came along and wanted to know which employers offered retail opportunities or animal care opportunities. Activity type, work placement is the only one that's available, and that's all we're using WEX for. Contact name, ideally it would have their first and last name, so the next time this is used, which hasn't been in a while, this can be updated. It also provides the phone number. Further information to contact this employer would be listed in the employer details. which we will explore later. Days since last use, so this is the last time a student was actually placed with this employer, so it's been quite some time. We talked about district reserved and exclusive school. So as you can see here, some of the employers have exclusive school listed here. This is because the employer has specifically requested only to be working with one school to be accepting students. So if this was a perfect opportunity, a perfect employer from one of your students and you don't go to ACSS, for example, then definitely reach out to ACSS before contacting the employer to see if it's possible to arrange a placement for that student. So this actually isn't an employer I was looking for. I was looking to make a placement with 999 Books. And there are no employers available. All right, maybe I spelled the name wrong, so I'll search for 999. Maybe it'll be somewhere, and there's nothing 999. So we know that there is no employer in our database who's worked with us before in myWEX. So what that means is we're going to have to submit a new employer. If you did find an employer and they were in there and you wanted to get set up with Audi Langley, then you could go to the employer details and go forward with making a placement there. So see the video if the employer is listed, and see the next video if the employer is not listed on myWEX to see your next step towards making a placement.